Hello and welcome to this video of cycling most of the length of the River Rae from its source in Waseley Hills Country Park into the Birmingham city centre at Digbeth. Overall, the River Rae is about 14 miles in length and drops around 300 feet before joining the River Tame at Waseley Hill, better known as Spaghetti Junction. It runs through many of the suburbs of southwest Birmingham, and several parks are situated along the bank, such as Norton Nature Reserve and Norton Park, Canon Hill Park and Calthorpe Park. The source is in Waseley Hills Country Park, and then after a fairly steep drop it meanders through the southwest suburbs. These include Frankley, Longbridge, Northfield, Lifford, Stirchley, Selly Park, Moseley and then Highgate and Digbeth in the city itself. Within the city, the river is pretty well culverted all the way and is rarely visible until it re-emerges in Bordesley near Garrison Street at Peaky fame. Then near Saltley it runs alongside the Grand Union Canal up to Waseley Hill, where it ends and joins the River Tame. There are several tributaries to the River Rae, that is, the River Bourne, which joins in Stirchley, and Brook, which joins in the Wildlife Reserve in Canon Hill Park. For most of the route until Calthorpe Park, the river is above ground, but the route itself does not always follow the river closely, and there are stretches where it is out of sight. For example, Northfield in Norton. The name Rae apparently derives from many European languages and means to run or flow. It was very important to Birmingham over the centuries, with much industry and commerce relying on it. Medieval Birmingham was built on a crossing on the Rae in what is now Digbeth, and many of the street names in the area refer to the river or its mills, such as Rae Street, Floodgate Street, River Street and Dudderston Mill Road. Given its catchment area is now heavily populated with housing, it is quite common that the River Rae breaks its banks, and a number of schemes along the route have been put in place to protect these areas. When there has been rain, it is clear in places that the river rises almost 2 metres in level above normal. This video is very much a bicycle's eye view of the route and is sped up 4 times. The route itself is actually part of NCN, National Cycling Network Route 5, which runs from Reading to North Wales, a total of about 370 miles. Please sit back and enjoy the video. This new housing estate is built on what was formerly the Longbridge vehicle works, the home of Morris, Austin, Rover and other companies. There's been an enormous amount of regeneration with colleges, shopping centres and the housing that we've just seen. We lose the river for a while here while we pass the shopping centre and move on upwards towards Longbridge railway station. This is one of the many places where the river goes out of sight. We've actually literally just crossed over the river at this point, and it will take us a few hundred yards before we join a green nature area and the river is almost visible again. just coming up on the right is the last remaining ford on the river. We now have several hundred yards of this grass and tree area running alongside the river as we approach the station at Northfield. We have to leave this path and join the road for a few hundred yards, including crossing under the railway here and then passing Northfield station on our left. Then a little bit more road travel before we join further green area in part of Northfield and we run alongside the river. Again, we're on another area of grass and trees, very pleasant running alongside the river. This continues for another half mile or so, and this time the river is on our left. Now cycling in the King's Norton Nature Reserve, which continues for some time. It's part of a large green area, most of it on our left, which includes quite a bit of floodplain of the river. This area is a bit of green between King's Norton Nature Reserve and King's Norton Park, which is just ahead. The stream to our left is not the River Rae. The River Rae itself is further down to our left at the bottom of the park. We're now crossing the Pershall Road and heading towards the canal which is directly ahead of us. The river itself is still over to the left. We're now approaching King's Norton Junction, which is the join of the Stratford Canal with the Worcester Canal. We're just about to cross over a bridge for the River Rae here, and it is now to our right. We're going to continue along the canal a bit further before we then come off and rejoin the canal in about half a mile's time. Turn off to the right, just under the railway bridge here, through a small housing estate, which will take us down back towards the river. river now runs in a general north or northeasterly direction straight into the city. We've now lost almost all of the height of the river, and it is almost completely flat from here into Birmingham city centre. This part of southwest Birmingham is really quite heavily populated, but you can see that the river falls, the green river, all the way through into the city centre. Again, this is a short stretch where we are not by the side of the river. The actual route at this turn is to the right and then along the end of the road and turn left. I've actually taken a slight shortcut directly across this parkland. We're now in the outskirts of Canon Park in Moseley. To our left is the Pershore Road, and the river at the moment is to our right, and we're now just going to cross this bridge for the river to be back on our left, and it will be on our left all the way into the city centre. This is now Canon Park proper. The river is still to our left, but we're going to follow NCN5 and take a right turn very shortly and ride on the top edge of the park, which is the signposted route. It features a boating lake and the Mac, a theatre and arts centre in the park. On the left is a 16th century timbered house known as the Golden Lion, which was moved from Birmingham city centre and re-put in the park in 1911. It's in a very bad state of repair, and it's good to see that it is now starting to be rebuilt. We're now about to cross Edgbaston Road, and in front of us is the Edgbaston Cricket Ground. This is the last time we will actually see the river on this road, as it is now either culverted or deeply embanked into the city centre. The river is somewhere behind this row of houses on our left. Ahead is Calthorpe Park. The river is still on our left, but the route now does not follow the bank of the river. We're going to continue heading into Highgate and then on into Digbeth. This bit of cycle route here brings us closer to, but not very close to the river. Now approaching Belgrave Middleway, one of the major ring routes of London. To our right, but not visible on camera, is the Birmingham Mosque, and a mile or so to our left is Five Ways, another major interchange for routes in and around London. We do cross the river at some point here. riding along a fairly nondescript bit of road up to the roundabout ahead, which is the point that the map marks as the end of the River Rae route. So thank you very much for watching. Please come back again.